Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Energy Fuels. It is time for another update, and it seems this stock, along with many other in the market, has broken the relevant levels of support that would have allowed a more substantial bottom to already be in place, and to actually be forming possibly an explosion to significantly higher prices. Now that this happened, we have to reassess our expectations because we can no longer be looking for the wave 4 to bottom in this area, in this movement to the downside even, within the area of a triangle. We can no longer look for this to be something like a 1-2 setup where we would be looking, of course, for direct extensions higher. So we have to backpedal a bit here. We can still track a potential 1-2 setup here, right? We would still have room within the support zone we have previously shared, but of course we are looking for a full reset of this correction. Then we can also actually still track the area of a triangle we have recently shared, but we can no longer trust the wave C to have a bottom in. In fact, once we actually form a lower low in this movement to the downside, that scenario would have been invalidated. In fact, we would need to track this for a potential wave C reset, and then we would still need a wave D and a wave E to complete this interpretation and have afterwards a bottom within this wave 4 in green. Frankly, we shouldn't expect too big of a difference between these two scenarios. We would expect in either one of them to form here something like an A, B, C pattern, yeah, a reset of the previous low, form a move to the upside, and actually either one of these interpretations, whether this is the white count or the blue count, could see only 3 waves in the movement to the upside from the low we expect to form in this region, right? Then at least within the blue interpretation, we would expect to form a lower high. But within both of them, we would expect to also build a higher low afterwards. And at this point, we actually don't even need to focus too much on this idea. We can even hide, let's say, the blue scenario, and rather focus on the internal structure where I have to consider something like an A, B, C pattern, and I have to be looking for a 5-wave move to the downside within this push. I could also share here an ideal target for the wave C we can track in, let's say, orange, and that is the 100% extension of the wave A. That is around $15, which is wonderful because this is actually in line with structural support, not very significant structural support, but some structural support we have in this region. And even below that, we can identify a bit of structural support, right? From, let's say, $15.20, something like that, down to, let's say, $14.1, we can expect some additional support in helping generate the reversal, the movement to the upside that could be either the wave 3 in white. We actually have a few scenarios, but let's focus on the wave 3 in white or the wave D in blue that would be part of a larger triangle to complete this as a larger wave 4. So from a larger time frame perspective, technically these counts, these structures are still intact, but we have to be looking for a full reset. We have to rebuild that initial 5-wave move to the upside we have previously identified, and only then can we once again trust this pattern for a potential trade setup from a smaller time frame perspective as well. Now, in the smaller time frame, I am looking to build here a 5-wave move to the downside, as I just said, and within this wave C down, I would probably prefer to see an ending diagonal to be unfolding. Within this interpretation, I would have to consider the wave 1 would have bottomed here, this would have been the wave 2 top, and right now we would be building a wave 3 to the downside. We can expect afterwards a wave 4, a larger correction, and then one more low within the wave 5, where we can expect to even form a more substantial bottom and look once more for an opportunity on this chart. Now, in the smaller time frame, I am tracking a few different interpretations in the back of my mind, but I have to consider the possibility of something potentially quite bearish to be going on, and I would actually like to see the levels of resistance broken for such an interpretation. So I would probably be tracking here something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where this internal wave 3, I could actually see form one more low I would probably even prefer to see one more low in this structure if I am to zoom in, right? Within this wave 3, I probably have something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And within the wave 5 itself, I am seeing an impulse and I'm looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Once we have this in place, I can look for the larger wave 4 correction, where, yes, I would still expect to continue to lower prices, but if we manage to break the resistance levels up to $17.5, we can maybe look for something more bullish. Now, the thing is, as this wave 3 forms one additional low, the levels of resistance for such a wave 4 would need to extend along with it. But since I actually do not know at this point where this wave 3 will bottom, I will have to use the current lows. It seems we are actually already building this internal wave 5 to the downside. I will not get into such timeframes at this point. I would rather focus on the actual structure. If we can trust this pattern to follow through within this expectation, I could see something even like an A, B, C pattern that would allow a more substantial bottom to be in. But the thing is, even once we have this wave 3 complete, we get this wave 4, we get this wave 5, I can actually still see even one more low within this structure, because within this movement down, I see here a potential additional 1, 2 setup. So I will actually add here an extra count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That would only then have a more clearly complete structure within this larger wave 3, even within the idea of a diagonal structure. And I do not actually want this to follow through. I would like for the stock to show some strength, but that is not up to me. It has to prove that itself, it has to break the levels of resistance to prove that something not even necessarily more bullish, but something less bearish would be going on. Because if it actually continues in this path, it could very easily break even the green support levels that go down to about $14.4, which is really not ideal for the sake of this uptrend. And for now, we will stop here. I'll be waiting to see how this further develops, and these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.